Good afternoon. Welcome to Options Tender. It is Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. November 7th, 2025. So we're going to go through our typical evaluation here. We'll look at a couple of the other indices on the daily time frame, just so we can get a little bit of a look here. But I want to really hash out what we're looking for on the daily time, or excuse me, on the 65 as well for our wave count. And again, reiterate what our targets are in the future here. And excuse me, I'm just a little bit bigger picture. We'll do the full weekly analysis over the weekend, but I definitely want to give you this on Friday, something to look at and ponder. We did have some technical breakdown with the gap down today, and once we reached 362 on SPY, that was kind of our key on, all right, let's see where we're at here with our wave count. I think this extends just about directly to the 650 area, and that's I want to show you all of that. So right now, just kind of pointing out the VIX has a 13% move on it. Maybe we get to 10% or so. Whatever the case is, above 10%, we're looking for a possible bounce into Monday or Tuesday for 85% chance because of that. Now, if it was over 20%, then you have a 95% chance, okay? Yeah, feels like bearish. We have the put calls really cranking up here. That could cause a bounce. All right. So anyway, we're doing this intraday on Friday. If you want to get these videos intraday, consider becoming a YouTube member. It's 99 cents for the supporter membership. And it gets you the Discord. We're just hashing out, really poking out what's happening in Discord. And we have some great traders in there. Thank you so much, everybody that's been participating in that room and keeping us on the right side of the chart. So I had a question from somebody in the Discord, and they said, well, why did you go long yesterday? I went long on individual names and had I switched to a net positive on my overall account and my options account, and those you go out later. So I went out to next week on Friday, and then the puts that I brought in to Monday and Tuesday for those puts. So I'd control a portfolio, and you can consider it just like a professional manager's portfolio who has deltas, right? So like money makers. So I was delta positive as of yesterday, and then when we gapped down today, by default from my puts, I was now negative. Okay, so then I had to roll my whole thoughts around. I brought my swing positions all the way out to 1121, and then I brought my calls out to Tuesday and Wednesday next week. So I know that's not how everybody trades, but that's how I do. I'm just about always pointing in both directions, especially when volatility is up like this, because even when you're in the wrong net direction, you can make money on these bigger moves. Now, today isn't as big as a move as it feels, and we're only down 1%. And I do think that we're possibly going to get our bounce here today. And I'm going to show you what this is going to look like on the lower time frame. It's really interesting. So let's go along and do our regular analysis first, and we'll see if we have time to check out the other indices. Okay, so we have SPX on the daily time frame. We may even get a doji here today. And that would just be, you'll see. I'll show you. Okay, so here's our naked chart. We have a move here, just been kind of grinding down, and then we have a little bit bigger moves heading into what I think is the third wave. We're expanding, and we should get some bounces here and there. But I think ultimately, just by looking at this, all right, that we should test this 6,550 area. 6,500 doesn't have to be exact. It can go underneath. It doesn't have to go through it. Okay. And it looks like we're getting a bounce on IBIT here. Okay. So we still are holding our calls we have some spreads for MicroStrategies as well. So those are after that gap down, those are coming back to life. So here we go. We have, so the naked chart here, we might form this doji here today. I wouldn't trust it to be a large bounce. And just by putting on our traditional technical analysis, you'll see on SPY, I'm going to jump over here real quick. This is what we've been trading off of. So just by looking at this, we broke down from the channel decisively. You know, I moved it around. I said, hey guys, maybe you can move it a little bit and shift it. This is what works. This is what we have the bounce off here, fake break, wicks, right? So all those are valid. We're using the bodies of the wicks, and this one was a complete fake break where we gapped up. All right, so and then we had a reaction off of here, and this is where we closed yesterday. All right, so we had a decisive move down here, and now I do think we have an opportunity to bounce for 1 or 2 days, and that might be going into Monday, and get turnaround Tuesday, where this should fail into the support zone that I was talking about here. Okay. All right, and there's a reason why the support area is going to be significant. So let me move back to SPX. So bouncing around. All right, so here's our trend. Our trend is now down. Okay, we have to pay attention to that. We had the sell signal right up here, and we started to break down yesterday from this type of indicator. All right, we still have negative divergence that we are expecting to play out. So I do think this is just the beginning of the move, but we have different scenarios that we have to respect for the bullish and the bearish sides. Here's your moving averages. We're holding on to that 50. All right. So again, we're right in this box here. We're in the zone, and it's very typical for us to break down from one zone, one end to the other. All right, and that brings us right into our bounce area. And as a matter of fact, this might be where we get some sort of setup for a head and shoulder. And the neckline does not have to be perfect, does not have to be horizontal. So if the market does go down a little bit more, it can. All right, so if we get down to this zone, you see that was the previous 1929 trend line. All right, I can't remember if it was this one or this one. That's why I'm pausing. I can't remember if this is the 2008 or the 1929, but here's the zone where both of those would get a reaction, and we have the 100 moving average down here as well. So, all right. Here's a McClellan oscillator. All right, still with positive divergence here. So the breadth is gaining a little bit of strength. I don't think we're going to see much of a bounce out of this anymore. Just in case we do, again, we have, I have calls out on QQQ, SPY, and IWM. Those are hedges to 11.11 and 11.12. All right, I'm looking at that. Yeah, so if this does start to move to new highs, then, or if this is the first leg and we do get that significant bounce, now we have something to work with. All right, so if that was the case, then we're no longer really looking at that channel. That channel is we're going to break higher from the channel. And if we do get a significant bounce, what we're doing is we're back testing this wedge right here. Okay. Again, I don't think that's the case, but you have to be ready for everything. All right, and so we're getting to this oversold territory. I think that's natural going into the 50-day moving average to get some sort of reaction off of it. But I do think we go lower, and as a matter of fact, as we go lower, we might even see a divergence, positive divergence. And that might not actually happen until later on, but we'll see. And then the slow stoke, I'm still looking for a buy signal. We're not there yet. And again, we're negative here. Yesterday I said, hey, You know, why are you getting bullish? Why are you getting positive, net positive on this when you have a bearish cross? Well, I'm still looking for a move now, a move lower, and then we should get our buy signal as we get down to the next lows. And again, I'll show you on the 65 DMARC. 6 count to the downside. This kind of fits what's happening here. We should see a 9 count going into our lows coming up here in the next few days. And we do have some timing into next week as well. Members know about that. And let's go to SPY. On SPY, money flow index, we see this divergence playing out. We had distribution, and I think we'll cycle all the way down to the downside, but we do have an alternate scenario where we have an expanded flat or running flat. I mean, really, this could be a correction. We go higher and get another divergence, right? I don't, again, everything's pointing bearish, so I'm not in that camp, but just be ready. Bollinger Band. Not quite to the bottom yet. We will tag that bottom of the Bollinger Band in an oversold territory, and that should give us a buy signal for a bounce. Not there yet. No setup. And we're not in the red yet, so still, no setup from this point. This volume shelf should be a good time to check this out. So we're in the shelf right now. Looks like this might be our, like I said, a little bit of a bounce territory. And if we break down from here, it's possible if we get all the way down to the node that we go a little bit past this low here, and we start we get into this volume just below it around 645, 646. So again, you can spike through there, and then maybe we get our a neckline just a little bit offset, where it could be, let me take this off, where it could be pointing a little bit more like this, where you get your left shoulder head and your right shoulder on this side. All right, so it doesn't have to be horizontal. All right, so those are kind of things we're anticipating. And so again, that you can see all the trade in here. That's what makes that volume shelf here. So, and the 50-day moving average, it's natural that we would get a little reaction off of here. Okay. So again, this is kind of our larger, and I'll go over this in more detail in the weekend. Overall, we're looking for 2 scenarios for this to be done. Wave 5, and then in purple, we're looking for our wave 1 down into those. Right now we're bringing the 236 down here to the 627. The only reason why I'm doing that is because of the second scenario. I could bring this up here to the top, and I think that fits with the fibs. I think this would be our scenario where we get a 1 and 2, but I'm keeping in mind that this move looks corrective to the upside. So here's our alternate scenario where we go much higher, or at least make brand new highs, and we have unfinished business up here. And again, if we make it above that yellow line, then we have a possibility of getting up to 744. Okay, and so that scenario, I'll show you on the 65 as well, is that the first, so we have A, this entire move was A, and now we're correcting with the running or a expanding flat, where this first move down was an A. All right, this spike up here was a B, and we're getting the C move, which I think we have to correct a little bit further down, and it could continue, way down here to the 23.6, because that would be the 23.6 correction from the A top here. So I hope that makes sense. It wouldn't be unusual for a larger move down to 600, but we're not there yet. Let's one step at a time. All right, so those are kind of like what we're looking for as our scenarios. On SPX, we actually have a different scenario that I'm keeping with members, and you can look at the Elliott wave count on hubb.com if you want to. It's a free site for algorithms for Elliott wave analysis. So you see where we're getting our bounce from. We're rejecting just below here on the 23, so it didn't quite get to it, but you don't have to make it every single time to that direct point. Okay, you can wick above, stall short. So clearly we're getting our reaction off of there. And let's see here. Oh, wife is calling. Let me pause it. All right, sorry, I had to pause. Let's put on our moving averages here. All right, now for our cycles are moving correctly. Again, we should have, we're in an up phase. We had our low here, our ideal low. We couldn't get above that 200, so I wasn't sure that we would actually start to reverse from this point. But this is matching exactly with our cycles again. So we have our ideal low where we made this lower, higher low. And now we broke above the 200, so that's bearish. We'll see what happens from this point, but we continue to move higher. We can march higher. The 8 EMA, the momentum's up. The trend is up with the 20 moving average. You can't deny, just moving on up. So this is our bearish scenario, and looking good so far. Let's go to SPY on the lower time frame, 65-minute. Okay, here's your traditional look here. Again, we broke down from this channel. If this channel means anything, then what we're going to do, and you see the 200 moving average. So you got the little, this was a lot of confluence. So that's why I took some calls on individual names, but on indices have puts, okay? And now we completely switched our options account around. And again, if we start getting a larger bounce, those calls are going to come into play. They're going to be very good for us, and we're going to have to switch things around again, obviously, when we get to a higher spot. But if this is what I think it is, then, well, first of all, let's go through these real quick. Knock these out. Trend is down. And again, we're in that bow and arrow. You see that triangle we had? That's called a bow and arrow support resistance. Moving averages are down. Underneath them, trend is down, momentum's down. We broke through this 200 moving average, which act really well as this channel bottom. Okay, so keep that in mind. And as of yesterday, we're above all of this. Okay. And again, that ascending triangle breakout, that's actually a fake break. Okay, so here's your indicators. Getting oversold. This is obviously not the place to go short. If you have not been short already, wait for a bounce. Okay? We should get that bounce. We'll be looking for it, and I'll show you that wave count. And we're getting into this lower barrier here. And eventually, when this is done, we're on the 65-minute. When we start to complete our move lower, and we could close these gaps, that would make sense to me. All right, and you'd probably get a reaction off of these two gaps. Okay, so we should have some positive divergence in here when all this is said and done. All right, so that's why we do these videos each and every day. And yeah, so some people. The bad part about this is some people are just now getting bearish, because I get it. The trend is up, the correction, the trend is up, but now we have a significant breakdown, and you kind of got to be careful. If you're a swing trader, you're not really swinging from this point. All right. If you're very short term, then yeah, obviously this, you could even go long right here for a bounce, maybe come close to the gap. And likely, since we're bearish, will reject the gap. We'll see. Still got all these gaps open here. All right. So here's our wave. Oh, wait, I didn't finish. Sometimes I try to go too fast and then skip things. Look at that. We have a 13 count. So we ended up getting that 13 count. We had the 12 count here. I said, it doesn't look like we're going to get it. It continued on. We got a 13 count exhaustion. That should give us our bounce. That should help with our situation. We're looking for a bounce. All right, we're getting to that oversold territory. It got a bounce out of this one, but headed lower. I thought that was going to happen on the MACD as well. And, oh, it did. It did, as a matter of fact. Here's your Bollinger Band. So you're at the bottom of the band looking for a bounce. We want to get off of this band with oversold. And just like that, same thing. We're in a downtrend, so obviously that bounce wasn't significant. Okay, but we have a buy signal right now on the 65. And the Elliott oscillator, that's what we're talking about, where we probably stay in the red. And now with this one, when this is all said and done, we get our bounce, we head lower, we should probably, and it doesn't always happen, get on a 65-minute a positive divergence. All right, we don't have that set up yet. Okay, so what does this look like for Elliott wave? Here's our flat pattern. Here's what I'm talking about when we're actually bullish. We have this 630 that's much, much further down there. All right, is that, I want to make sure that that's at the right spot. Boom. I think so. So we're looking at the high being around 673. 673. Yep, we're in the right spot. And so this could be a crash-like situation. If this is truly a expanded flat, then we're looking at this A, B, and then a 5-wave move lower. Now, how does this 5-wave move look? I didn't update this yet. So with this, I think that we have a 1, 2, this move is starting to expand, and now you have a 1, 2, 3, and I'll show you on the other time frame. In this wave 3, they're all made of 3 waves. Now, it doesn't have to be. There is a 5-wave move in here, but I think that's a flat pattern. So we're getting these zigzags, all right? And wave 3, just on this lower degree, not the purple degree, the lower degree is, I think it's done here, and I'll show you again on the next page. So we're not even done with the purple wave 3 yet, which should bring us down to these lows, possibly close those gaps, get a wave 4, bounce. And with momentum accelerating, you don't have to get a big wave 4, but know that that's there, and you get a wave 5 to complete this down in this zone. All right, that's a hefty move there, but it's possible. We'll see. And a little bit more conservative, but I think that this being the top, I think this is the top. Now, you got a lot of action going on here. You got your channel. Okay, let's dig into this. So we have, there's where our target is, down by 648, 650, this zone right here, 644, 648. Okay, so here's your, just like I counted, 1, 2. Now we're in a 1, 2. And guess what? From this 1, 2 here, the top, in the white, that's a leg, that's a 1 leg. To 2, our 162 extension is right here. And that's, you see how it didn't stop it directly, but right around this range is where we say, hey, that's where we're probably in an impulse wave here, and we're going lower. So that's our telltale signal that we probably have a trend change also with the channel breakdown. And so if we do get any sort of bounce here, we're looking for, in the white, a wave 4 bounce. Now, from the bottom, so this would be wave 3 being a 3-wave move. You see the ABC zigzag. For wave 3, You have an expanding move here. Wave 3 can't be the shortest, and it's already longer than wave 1. All right. If we do get a bounce, there's your 23.6. And then there's your 668. Brings you right to this gap area. They're likely to fail at one of these points here. Okay. For wave 4, and then we get wave 5. Wave 5 does not have to, wave 5 can be longer than wave 3. Okay. So we're not measuring this out yet for wave 5. Okay. I will move my calls around at this point. Okay. I will take off some of the calls, move them out, and add on to swings that are later if we get this bounce. If not, I don't need to. I don't need to do anything. Okay. And after this wave 5 in the white, we have wave 3, which could bring us into this zone. A wave 4, you could get it significant. You can get a meager bounce. It can just dive and you get some sort of 4-5-4-5 into this. So just a placeholder, and then ultimately a wave 5. Okay. So with this being the top, all right, I still think I'm looking for, there we go. I still think somewhere, no matter how this goes, maybe our wave 5 goes all the way to our first target. It's possible. Okay. But we'll keep this in mind. All right. I'll leave it down here for now. And then I'm looking for this to be wave 1. All of this, wave 1. I'll make this bigger and I'll change the color. So all this, I'm looking for a wave 1. And then we should have all those divergences we talked about and a significant wave 2 correction at that point. And again, this is just a placeholder. I don't know where this is going to go. All right, for your wave 2, and we continue the bear market after that. Okay. I think now these lines here, what are these for? This is the initial 1-2. All right, so we certainly already surpassed the 162. We can take that one out. We'll hide that one. We made it to the 262. It acted as support. All right, but I don't think that's done for this yellow wave 3. So it could make it all the way down to this 362, and that would be the lows here. And that would give us our head and shoulder look. All right, it all could be done at this point. We're going to have to look at what kind of structure goes on here and what our indicators are showing. All right. And that's right by the zone anyway. So you could get a short wave 5 in here if you go 4 and 5. All right, you guys, I hope that helps. I hope I'm clear with this. It's already almost 30-minute video. So let me get this out to you and then we can go through things in more detail on the weekend video. And have a wonderful weekend. And thanks for joining us here at Options Center. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I want to see you in the Discord.